Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Del Mar for a very good Saturday afternoon of racing. I'm Kurt Hoover. I'll be with you throughout the card and throughout the meet. Joining me, my friend Tom Quigley. And Tom, we got a stakes doubleheader with the California Dreamin' and the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch. Some real deep fields, some interesting maiden races loaded with first-time starters. Good gambling card, I thought.
Really good gambling card. Perfect weather conditions, by the way. And the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Distaff, which will be run right here where the turf meets the surf.
We start from scratch in the pick 6. That was hit yesterday. That's on races 6 through 11. Let's get right to the action, Tom. We're on the turf. Many good grass races today. Maidens in the opener, some firsters, horse with experience in the rail. What do you do here?
I'm going to be long-winded for a minute, Kurt, and just bear with me because in a couple of races today, I think the post position draw is going to have a bearing on the outcome of the races. And the reason why I say that in this first race, going 5 furlongs in the turf course, is we've had 15 5-furlong turf races so far this meet during the summer. 11 of them have been won by post positions 1 through 4. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. That run to the clubhouse turn comes up so fast that if the horse drawn on the outside has to show extraordinary speed to clear the field, he might get tired late. If he doesn't show that extraordinary speed, then he's going to get caught wide on the turn. So the inside post positions, in my opinion, are really the places where you should start handicapping. Also, there is a jockey riding here in Southern California that's relatively new that maybe a lot of players don't know about. It's the jockey on the rail horse, Ruben Silvera. We might not know him, but let me tell you something. He has a lot of experience, and as you well know, Kurt, he's a jockey that you can play.
Yeah.
He's got 9,180 lifetime mounts, 1,345 lifetime wins. He's well known.
He's been around.
He's been around. He's well known on the Mid-Atlantic circuit, but not that many people know him here in Southern California. And I've tipped my hand in terms of who I like because your colleague at FanDuel, Mike Joy, has said many times before that he's never met a second-time starter that he doesn't like. And there's only one horse in race number 1 that has experience, and it is the runner drawing post position number 1, Jules, coming back in 6 days for trainer Peter Miller. Last time out, went back and watched the replay, and Jules was right on top of the wire-to-wire leader turning for home, but then got tired. One of the reasons why he got tired after breaking from the rail that particular afternoon is because she was following, or she was kind of in tight most of the back, going down the backside. I think today she's going to show more speed. I actually like the subtle jockey change as well. She's the only filly with racing experience. I'll put Jules on top. She's 7-2 last time I looked on the tote board. And the one taking the action, number 3, South Bay. The Dam won her debut won her debut at a maiden special weight race at Delaware Park. Maybe she wants a little bit further, but Little Red Feather, the owner, certainly has had a very, very productive meet up to this point.
Yeah, I picked South Bay, as you mentioned, a good pedigree there, win early with the debut winner at Delaware. And I thought the 7, Hypergamy, had a chance. Interesting story behind this horse's name. The dam of this horse, Shane's girlfriend, named for Dennis O'Neill's son, Shane O'Neill. Shane got to name this horse. He had 3 or 4 different names. What hypergamy means is marrying up in social status. So since they bred this mare to American Pharoah, that is where the mare came from. You and I would know nothing about that, but that's where the name came from.
And Shane is currently a student at UCLA, so that education is paying off quite handsomely for his parents.
He's wasting his life at the racetrack, but he's getting a degree from UCLA. Just kidding, Shane. Let's go on to race number 2. Kicks off the pick 4. Field of 8 set to go in the second. Maiden claimers in this one.
You know, the favorite is going to be number 1, Vera Cruz, down on the rail, Kurt. But I'm going to try and beat him. He was obviously well fancied at auction. He's only had 1 lifetime start. Claimed off the debut for maiden 50, but he's a 5-year-old. He's got a good bullet drill. Could he win? Of course. I'm going to look in a different direction. I'm going to go with number 6, Magic Connection. You know, you and I both handicap utilizing a number of different tools, and one of the tools we utilize is nationalturf.com and clocker Andy Harrington. And Andy's report for the workout on July 28th for number 6, Magic Connection, that work was in company with Speedboat Beach, a very, very talented Bob Baffert runner who has a lot of speed. You can see bullet workouts for Magic Connection as well, going all the way back to mid-June. And maybe more importantly, Kurt, one of the reasons or one of the things that caught my eye for Magic Connection is the jockey, Antonio Fraser. You can see right in the racing form, Tiago Pereira currently injured and on the sidelines. But when Palma and Fraser team up, they win at a 38% win clip with a good sample size as well. So I'm going to use number 6, Magic Connection, first-time gelding. Blinkers on as my top selection. Number 5, Charlie Foxtrot. Also going to take a lot of action, dropping down in class for trainer Mark Latt. First-time gelding as well. I'll make race 2, 6-5.
There's races today I have strong opinions on. This is not one of them. This is one of those races, it's just there. So I picked the 1, Vera Cruz. Not a lot of enthusiasm. 1 next out winner out of that race. Picked the 5 second. But I can see your case for Magic Connection. You never have to talk me into a Hector Palma horse, ever.
He's a cagey trainer that's been around a long, long time.
Looks the same as he looked when I first started working here 40 years ago. On the race number
Same can't be said for us.
No, the same can definitely not be said for us. Third race. race. The distance that's not run too often, I love it. Mile and 3/8 on the turf. How do we sort this one out?
You look through the PPs, Kurt, for race number 3, and one thing that I think sticks out is there's not a whole lot of early speed. Therefore, I'm going to tend to gravitate toward those runners who do have early speed. They're going to be my top 2 selections. And on top, I'm going to put number 7, Pax a Wallop. We talked about this during last Saturday seminar, Kurt. Horses subtly re-adding Lasix are one of my favorite angles because it's not definitively noted in the racing program. Of course, it's noted in the daily racing form, but you have to pay attention. As you look through Pax a Wallop's running lines, you can see every time that he's used Lasix, he's run well. Now, he's 0 for 12 the last 2 years, which is cause for concern, but he's in for the $100,000 tag, and we know he likes this turf course. He's 2 for 6 over the Del Mar turf course. He could take them basically gate to wire. I like number 7, Pax a Wallop on top. I think the interesting long shot is number 3, Phosphorescence. Trainer Michael McCarthy does such a great job. Here's another runner that has early speed potentially. Also likes the Del Mar turf course. But what I like about Phosphorescence, he's an in and outer. He runs a good race, then a bad race, a good race, and then a bad race. You look through his last 4 races, that's exactly the pattern he's run. Today he's due for a good race off the short layoff for trainer Michael McCarthy.
And back on Lasix.
Exactly right, and back on Lasix as well. So 7 and 3 for me in that unique distance in race 3, Kurt.
Yeah, very good race, a good betting race. I ended up picking the 8 Llamas. I love Jeff Mullins off the claim.
You won't get 6 to 1.
I don't think so. I like the way he's spotting the horse. The mile and 3/8 is a question. For a lot of these horses it is, but I think he'll run well. I picked him on top. Pax a Wallop for second. It's funny, I often talk about this time in the claiming game. Sometimes you look at a claim and it starts out going, boy, this is a bad claim. That's how it looked for Pax a Wallop. Now it's a pretty good claim, and it could be a really good claim if he wins today.
Taken for 50, now in for 100, wins, gets claimed. Everything is great.
Yeah, so it's turned around for him. So I went 8-7 in race number 3. On to the 4th race, a maiden 20s going 5 and a hook. What do you do here?
Going to swallow the chalk here, Kurt, with number 3, Perfect Smile from the Peter Miller Barn. You'll remember this race last time out. The Perfect Smile ran back on June 12th. Added blinkers, dropped down in class, and the winner was a 1-2 favorite from the Michael McCarthy barn. That winner was actually a $50,000 maiden void claim dropper. So disposition was in basically to win the race, and that's exactly what she did. There's no such animals in this race today, in my opinion. She was well clear of the 3rd place horse. I'll put Perfect Smile on top. Number 9, Ponytail Pete is a little bit interesting only because drops down in class and also shortens up in distance. We know she's got early speed. She's backed up badly both times, but this is her first time at the maiden 20 level. It's a shorter distance. She's got a good outside post. For me, 3-9 in race 4, Kurt.
Yeah, this obviously is the least quality race on the card, and I saw it the same way. I think the favorite will be very tough to beat, and Ponytail Pete with the drop and speed second. 3-9 for me in a chalky 4th race, it appears. On to race number 5. We're back onto the turf at 1 mile. Thought this race, Tom, was another one that could go a lot of different ways. A lot of angles in here. Just an interesting race to try and figure out.
I'm against the chalk in this race, Kurt, and it's number 6, Guy Named Joe. The question is, why the drop? Now, maybe they're trying to find his winning level because he's only 1 for 14 lifetime, but I'm just not a believer in Guy Named Joe. He doesn't have a whole lot of early speed. He has to kind of maneuver his way through traffic. If he wins, great, but he's going to be a short price. I'm going to try and beat him with some horses that I think maybe have a little bit more upside, specifically number 3, Hawker, first off the claim for trainer George Papadromo. We all know how well George does off the claim, but this runner was bought at auction for $675,000, so at one point there were high expectations. But that race that he exits when he was sprinting actually produced a next out winner. The 4th place finisher came back to win, Captain Sparrow for trainer Mark Glad, and maybe more importantly, Kurt, earned a 91 Beyer speed figure. I don't know if Hawker's going to run anywhere close to a 91 Beyer speed figure, but I do know that Hawker beat Captain Sparrow last time out. That's good enough for me. It looks like they had a plan, claim and stretch out first off the claim. So number 3, Hawker for me on top, and I'll go to the far outside. Number 9, Mongolian Altai, one of my favorite trainers, Lee Baraccio, now with the barn change here. This horse does have some ability. Kyle Frey with a winner yesterday. 3-9 for me, Kurt, and a relatively lackluster race for me.
Yeah, amazing. I picked it the exact same way, Tom. 3-9. I had the same angles. I was talking the other day about I'm old school. I still keep a notebook with horses to watch and bet back on. Yesterday, 2 of them came out of the book. One won, one was 4th. Well, there's one in today, and it's Hawker. I thought this horse made a couple different moves last time out. I thought he kept to his task. I like the claim here for the newborn for Papadromo. I like the rider, Aguilar, getting on, so I like Hawker also. And I put Mongolian Altai second. Labrada Broccio, everything he sends out is firing. First start, private purchase, so I'm the same with 3-9. I don't like either favorite, Tom. I'm against a guy named Joe and Mighty Kai. They could win, but I just don't see a lot of appeal to either one of them.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Right? 6th race, pick 6 time at Del Mar as we got a field of no Mike Joyces horses here. There are no second-time starters. All firsters. What do we do here?
That's what makes it so difficult, right,
Yeah.
Kurt? Because we've done the work. We've looked at the pedigree. We've looked at the trader statistics. There's nothing necessarily that stands out. I'll point out a couple Captain Obvious
The pedigrees are not really here, right? There's none of those that you can latch on to.
Except for maybe number 3, Into Metro, because the dam is unique, Bella. Now, she's had 2 foals who haven't been much up to this point, but boy, is she bred to be a good one. She earned $1.2 million in her career, but from a breeding shed standpoint, Unique Bella has not produced up to this point.
And you start to get worried at some point with those kind of mares, because we've seen it often, Tom. I mean, Zenyatta, obviously the obvious example, but there's others. You could go down a long list. They just never produce anything close to themselves. It's only 2, so there's still room, but it's worth looking at.
We're basketball fans, and Hall of Fame basketball players don't make great coaches. The great coaches are the guys who ride the bench. Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, and it's kind of the same
Jeff
way.
Van Gundy.
Exactly.
He rode the bench with my best friend in junior college.
Now we're showing our age.
Right.
But I do like Bourbon and Ginger on top, and one of the reasons why is Richard Mandela can be sneaky good with first-time starters, and the connection spent to the farm. The owner must have liked what they saw at auction because they paid 21 times the stud fee. The stud only stands for $15,000. They spent $325,000. The dam has had 3 foals with 1 second-place finish on debut. Decent works and a hungry jockey in the saddle who's in here from Hong Kong, who we well know about. Number 6, Mistrial, the obvious as well. But this is a race, Kurt, that I mentioned earlier. This is where people should be in the paddock taking a look at these fillies, because maybe there'll be a tip-off in the paddock as to who might have the most ability from a body language standpoint.
Third straight race, we pick it the same way. 4-6 for me for all the reasons you talked about. The dam of Bourbon and Ginger was also a debut winner. So 4-6 with Mandel and Baffert. They're going to square off later on in the stake. 7th race tips off to pick 5. Take out 12, 13, and 14. AEs do not get in. What do we do here?
We're back to the 5 furlong turf race, so of course I'm going to look at the inside 4 post positions. And you know, looking at this race on paper, Kurt, there is a tremendous amount of early speed. It sure appears like Knapp only has one way to go off the layoff. Also, Jack Fish last time out showed incredible early speed, and maybe some of the other runners have speed as well. This is my long shot value play of the day, and it's going to be the first time Gelling down on the rail. Number 1, Oakley Smile. Francisco Rodriguez snuck one past the goalie the other day. For those of you who don't know, Francisco Rodriguez, longtime assistant to Jonathan Wong. He knows what he's doing, and what he's doing here is a first-time gelding, blinkers off, first-time Edwin Maldonado, who's desperate and hungry for his first win. I don't think he's going to show as much speed as some of these other runners in the field, but I do think he's going to get a good stalking trip and a 20-1 on the Maury line. I can't pass that price up. I do think Jack Fish is a legitimate contender simply because he's shortening up from 6.5 furlongs at Los Alamitos to 5 furlongs today, but he's going to be way overbet. He didn't change leads last time. He staggered home in 7 seconds. Could he win? Maybe, but not at that short of a price. Jockey change over to Juan Hernandez. I'll put Oakley Smile on top, and I do give a little bit of a look to Glorious Life, a 5-year-old, first-time gelding, according to Brad Free in the Racing Forum, our friend who does such great work. Carla Gainsbarn with maidens returning in excess of 180 days. She's 8 for 28. That's a 28% win clip. Kimura's been riding well this week. I'll make it 1-8 and a bit of a head scratcher because this race is so pace dependent.
It's interesting, Tom. You're the third person who I respect the opinion of who likes Oakley Smile. I forgot my jacket out in the car. I'm going out there 15 minutes ago. I run into my friend Simon Bray, who's coming into work. I said, "You liking it?" He goes, "Yeah, I like a price horse later on." Oakley Smile, for all the reasons you talked about. And Francisco Rodriguez learned his lessons from Jonathan Wong. That's a good place to learn if you want to win races. So I can definitely see the case there. That being said, I think Jack Fish is going to be very tough to beat. 21-4 and 44-4 at Los Al. Stakes horses don't do that. That's rocket fast. Also, the dam's had a turf winner. I think this horse will be very, very tough to beat. And then I thought the 8-horse, Glorious Life. Here's where stats can be deceiving. Because if you look at Carla Gaines, she's 1 for 15, whatever. But 10 of her horses run second and third, and at prices. 20-1, 18-1. Her horses have been firing. They just haven't been getting there. So I think that horse will run well. And I respect the one because 3 people I respect have now mentioned that horse. So I don't think you're getting 20-1. So
definitely not.
So 4-8 for me in the 7th. Let's go on to the 8th race. Field of 7 going here. And this is a tricky race. There are some fast horses in here, and a lot of them have the exact same style.
There are. In some cases, Kurt, I think people might be hitting the all button simply because it's a relatively small field.
For sure.
Excuse me, because there's a lot of different ways this race could go. I respect literally every single runner in the field.
Anybody could win.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. Including Tapatio Leo, who has some back class and puts the blinkers on for trainer Craig DeLassy. But having said all that, I reluctantly chose the rail horse, number 1, Southern Gentleman, only because on debut, the second-place finisher was another Bob Baffert trainee who came back to win in his next start and earn a buyer speed figure of 95. I don't like the post position. I know I'm taking the worst of it. I just think he has the most upside. You know, you're always trying to project.
Yeah.
Baffert has come loaded with bear at this Del Mar Summer Meet, which he always does. But I do think an interesting price play that you might like, Kurt, that I also like is number 6, Wayne the Brain. I've always liked this horse. I talked about purchase prices compared to stud fees. 55 times the stud fee for Wayne the Brain. He's obviously always been well considered. His second lifetime start, trainer Mark Glatt added the blinkers. He hit the winner's circle. Now he's a first-time gelding off a long layoff. This is a very difficult race card, but I'll make it 1-6 in that order.
Yeah, and to your point, Tom, talking with my pick 6 partner earlier today, we're thinking about buying the race. It's got that look to it. Because even Tapatio Lee, who's the longest shot, is a very fast horse and has ability. That being said, I did go to the 6-horse Wayne the Brain. I cashed my biggest bets of the summer last year here at Del Mar, start number 2, because start number 1 was what we'll call an educational experience. I'll leave it at that. I bet a lot second time, and he won like a nice horse. There was a highly regarded Glatt horse in the race that he blew away. I thought he might be going on to Stakes Company and be a good horse, right?
Yep.
But then, obviously, something happened. The wheels came off. He went to the sidelines. Now he's been gelded. He draws outside. He gets Kimura. I put him on top. Good with people. I like the way Glatt's managing this horse. He's entered not to be claimed. He's getting the free ride here. He draws outside. Awesome rhythm. I didn't like it all at Los Al, and visually he was really impressive. Again, Tom, you can make a case for anyone in here. I went 6-7.
And Wayne the Brain, who we've been talking about, is a newly turned 4-year-old. As you well know, Kurt, 3 to 4 is one of the biggest age brackets where the most improvement could maybe happen.
And do you know who he's named for?
It's some agent, or
a guy
what's the story?
Who's passed away, longtime agent and trainer in Northern California, Wayne McDonald, who was very tight with Good Time Ron Hansen. They were good friends, and somehow that came named. They called him Wayne the Brain. That's who this horse is named for. A lot of colorful stories, none of which can be told on the air, but that's who the horse is named for.
You mentioned Ron Hansen. There's a lot of bells and whistles that go off as soon as you mention that.
A lot of stories that could be told. A brilliant rider. That is
no
for
doubt
sure.
it.
No doubt about that. All right, the 9th race, Mambas and Papas, California Dreamin' Stakes here for $150,000. Quick side note, Tom, because I saw her the other day on a show. I've been doing this job for a long time. I've interviewed politicians, rock stars, athletes, very important, very famous people. Only one time did I ever get tongue-tied in an interview. It was Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and Papas.
No kidding.
She was at Santa Anita with a friend.
You were starstruck?
But a horse. I was interviewing her. I was starstruck, and I could barely get the words out. If you know me, that's not the usual case with me. But she just had that aura, presence, and I love the group. I love the music. Anyway,
and you respected her so much.
I got a picture of me and her.
Did she know what she was doing, playing the horses?
She was there with Nicolette Sheridan, who owned jumpers and show horses. So they were there just hanging out. But anyway, I digress. But only time I was tongue-tied, Tom, Michelle Phillips. All right, what do we do in the California Dreamin' for the Mamas and Papas?
I would have lost that wager, Kurt. I would have thought that you'd never gotten tongue-tied. No. But you certainly self-admitted that you did that one time. Really good betting race, Kurt. We've been saying this a lot, and this is a really good field. The key to this race is what do you do with Kings River Knight? You know, he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. He's got a lot of mileage on his legs. He loves to win races. He goes off as the betting favorite every single race. He's going to do that again today. I'm going to try and beat him just because of that outside draw. I'm probably going to regret it, but I do like number 5, Mr. Disrespectful, who's taking the blinkers off. Ever since they stretched this horse out around 2 turns, and ever since they put jockey Hector Barrios on his back, he's become a different horse. He's won 2 times and finished second 2 times. He lost to King River Knight last time out, but he wasn't disgraced. I will hope that hopefully today Mr. Disrespectful will turn the tables. I also like number 2, Alligato. We talked just now with Wayne the Brain with Mark Glatt off layoff runners. Alligato's got to make up a lot of ground, but I like Glatt with fresh horses. I'll make it 5-2 in a very difficult 9th race.
Yeah, and I went back and forth in this race. So I picked Kings River Knight, but not as a cinch or a slam dunk. I respect the horse. He's just a cool horse. That being said, having been at Los Al that day, and I was down watching that race, trackside, he was all out. He was absolutely all out to win that race. He called on his class. So I do think he's vulnerable, and I think there's a lot of different ways to go. I went another way. I went to Clouseau. I think this horse is going to have a good trip. He's gotten better since being claimed. Kent DeSormo was perfect at the meet. Not many people can say that. He's 2 for 2.
2 stellar rides, winning by open lengths.
Right, for Aggie Ordonez, and he takes a call for Papa Padromo. He's going to have to step up, but I think he can. So I put Clouseau second behind Kings River Knight. Alligato never wins, but he's going to make a run.
Correct.
And see if you agree with this, Tom. I think that Kings River Knight takes care of the rest of the speed if he keeps going, and then somebody comes running, either Alligato, the Clouseau, and Mr. Disrespectful will be up close. It's a tougher than it looks on paper race, right?
I agree. Completely agree with you, Kurt.
I picked the 9, but not a ton of confidence. 9-3. Okay, we got 2 to go. 10th race is the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch.
Really good race here, Kurt. Obviously, the feature race on the card. And Copian, I certainly respect her ability, but the question becomes, what is she going to do around 2 turns? She's 5 for 5 around 2 turn, but she's 0 for 3 around 2 turns. It's pretty much on record that trainer Richard Mandel is trying to figure out which Breeders' Cup race he wants to enter Copian into. We'll find out the answer to that question at the end of this race. I'm not going to pick Copian to win the race. I respect Bob Baffert's barn too much. And, you know, you talked about reading between the lines and watching how trainers and owners manage horses. I love the way that Baffert and the owners have managed number 5 Ricci. They know that they have a very talented runner. They took their time with her. They didn't aggressively pursue any big ambitions. The most recent victory was in the Grade 2 Santa Margarita, where she was very impressive in victory. She's slowly improving race after race. They want to make her a Grade 1 winner. They want to get her in the Breeders' Cup. They want to make her a broodmare. I think today's the day, just kind of like last week with Nisos.
Yeah.
If Ricci has any ability that I think she does, she's going to show it today. But she's going to have to run down her stablemate number 1, Seismic Beauty, in my opinion, because this daughter of Uncle Mo, just like I spoke about earlier with another runner, once they stretched her out to 2 turns, she became a different filly. Baffert was on record when she went 2 turns for the first time that he always wanted to stretch her out, and there she was once again in the Santa Margarita, winning by open lengths. Seismic Beauty to finish second to Ricci, a Bob Baffert exacta.
I picked it 1-5, but I could have picked it 5-1. I coin flip between the two for all the reasons you said, Tom. And I made that point. It sounds like a Captain Obvious kind of point, but this is a Grade 1. This is not a prep for anything. This is not getting fit. This is the big deal because whoever wins is now a broodmare sold for a lot of money. So this is it, and I'm with you on Ricci. Other from a personal standpoint, you know, I've interviewed Baffert a lot after a lot of stakes, and whenever Ricci's involved, he comes back to her. He starts talking about her, meaning he thinks she's really good. I'm with you, taking a stand against Copeland. We might get caught here. Just something about her today I'm not really big on. She was all out at Los Al. She never came close to getting by that horse, so she could win. But I'm with you. I went the other way.
She's brilliant sprinting. We know that, right?
Yeah.
We do know that.
Yeah.
I would love her sprinting, and she could be one of the main contenders in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. But I don't blame trainer Richard Mandel and the connections for trying 2 turns on this surface to see if, in fact, she wants to go 2 turns. Because if she does well, maybe they'll go in the distaff instead.
And it's a Grade 1.
Correct.
Right? She's made as a broodmare. 11th and final to me, Tom. I want to be as deep as possible in this race. This is a mess. The pace is murky. You got a lot of maiden winners coming off not real fast races. You got some multiple winners who've got back form. Good luck here.
I agree with you, Kurt. I mean, this what a way to end the card. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time trying to smoke out the winner here. The lukewarm morning line favorite is number 9 Mining District, and although he's got towering Beyer speed figures, that's all been accomplished on dirt. This race is on turf, so I'm going to try and look elsewhere, and I'm going to go to a runner. We talked about the Carla Gaines barn needing to wake up. A newly turned 3-year-old by the name of number 6, Prince Dolce, first-time Lasix. Again, looking at the way that the connections have managed this 3-year-old gelding, they took their time. They wound up 2024 after a pretty aggressive campaign in the Cecil B. DeMille Grade 3 event. He actually ran okay that day, but now they gave him a bit of a break after that long campaign. Sir Prancelot, very talented California sire. Carla Gaines gets Antonio Fresu to ride. Like you said, I'm not going to single that Prince Dulce, but at the same time, I do think Carla Gaines could complete the exacta with number 1 Winning Patriot, who's a half to Super Patriot, who banked over $300,000 in his career for trainer Richie Baltas.
And Susanna buried Super Patriot time we ran against her. So I do remember that very, very well. I remember that very, very well. I picked Winning Patriot. I liked the way the horse won. This horse is a bit of a goofy horse.
Yeah.
He's a very difficult kind of horse. Carla Gaines is an excellent horse person, and I think this horse will run well today and is improving. So I picked the same horse.
Good price.
10-1. And the 12 horse Miles Finch. I like the way that horse won. And then I'll throw a crazy horse for you, Cardiff Crack. That horse was flying at Los Al. Look, I know that's sprinting on dirt. I get that. But if you go back, way back in this horse's grass form, he's been competitive with decent horses. And I think, to me, Tom, he gets maybe a good trip in here. It's a tough race. To me, it's murky who's going to be in front, how many horses are going to get behind, the speed. It's just a very tough kind of race. It's a good race.
And going back to Cardiff Crack for a moment, Kurt, you know, Bill McLean, an old school horse trainer, 2 sprints now to a route, right? 1 on the main track, 1 on the turf. He could be any kind now, stretching out around 2 turns at a big price, 12-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, my partner and I are 6 deep in the pick 6, and I said we may not have the winner on the ticket.
I wouldn't be comfortable.
Not at all. Tom, great card. Thanks for your time as always.
Thanks for your time. Good luck to everybody watching.
Tom Quigley has been my guest. Thanks to watching. You guys will see in about 15 minutes for the opener here at Del Mar.